So do you believe that you being a part of the Nation of Islam, your reputation preceded you? So when you went to those neighborhoods, they already knew what you were about.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of the benefits that, I promote the NOI all the time, but I try not to overdo it. But, some people think I just overdo it because that's what I am, that's who I am. But I try not to use the word Allah or Muhammad or Islam, like religious words. I just try to do the actual principles and actions. And if it's attractive enough, they respect it. And then you can tell them, yeah, well, that's Islam. I learned this from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So whatever you respect about me and my knowledge and respect about our indigenous commonalities and our being brothers and sisters in the original indigenous family, I got that from the Nation of Islam teaching. I got that from Louis Farrakhan. So they respect that in the penitentiaries, they respect that in the streets. If we wild, if we lost the knowledge of ourselves and we living like beasts and animals preying on each other, then nobody can really respect that. You know what I'm saying? Whether you from here, whether you're indigenous, whether you immigrants, like our African brothers and that come over here, they see how wild we live, and it's not like our African brothers did that to us, but they got to be warned before they come. Like you coming from Nigeria or Ghana or something, Kenya or whatever, they don't really deal with your black brothers. They too wild, they uncontrollable, like they mentally dead. So somebody got to be raised up from us that condition to prove that we otherwise, and we waking up and it's not like that. So that was my function and is my function in the rap game.
Okay. So you worked with a lot of Latino brothers on this project and some women.
Right.
You touched on this a little bit, but was it always supported from the very start? Did they always support what you were doing from the very start, the Latino?
Yeah, like I didn't get no resistance. I didn't get no resistance from the artist, because the artist is generally just like among black people, when it comes to business and making money and knowing that you can make money without feuding or set tripping or section tripping or race tripping or whatever, then that makes sense. It just makes sense. And Chicano rappers and like Frost, like pioneers that like Sick Jack and Psycho Realm Duke, even though Be Real, he's Latino, but that the Latino rappers from LA, they understand business and they represent their homies, their big homies. So big homies might be shot callers, behind the wall and dealing with the politics, but when you behind the wall, then those is the most conscious. They the ones that think like I think. They think like Minister Farrakhan. They think like real generals and real scientists and real historians about their indigenous background and history, and so they know what I know. But when in Rome, you got to do like the Romans. So if we in a racist society that's trying to prey on us and use us to fight against each other, like you got to take care of the local enemies. So if my own black brother, blood or Crip is trying to do something, harm me or my family because they mentally dead right now, I got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And then I can, try to preach about unity and peace treaty and truce or whatever at the same time, but I got to deal with whoever trying to get at me right now. So it's first things first. It's practical application, you know what I mean?
Okay. I'm gonna repeat this. I said it a little bit earlier in this interview, but I could not find any other rap projects that is on the level of Mutual Respect.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you think that Mutual Respect got the push, the radio push, or the notoriety it should have?
Nothing, you'll notice, nothing ever since the Million Man March in 1995, nothing that Minister Farrakhan or any member of the Nation of Islam does of good or historic greatness or righteousness is going to get promoted or publicized or marketed on mainstream media. Whether it's movies, whether it's Netflix, whether it's television, whether it's radio, whether it's social media, they just not gonna do it. And that's a good question to ask yourself, why? If you know how much positive, unmatched work of redeeming and reforming and uniting, black descendants of slaves and uniting with our Latino indigenous family that the Nation of Islam and members like myself have done, why wouldn't that be the top thing promoted everywhere? Just like my song Peace Treaty. That's a classic. That was the theme song for the whole 90s of gang truce, you know, peacing or ceasefiring. I ain't never been on none of my rap peers' tours. I ain't never been on no movie. It ain't never been in no movie soundtrack. It ain't been in nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you tell me.
Yeah. The mutual respect project is very, very solid and very powerful, right? Like I mentioned before, there's over 15 songs on that album. So many songs and so many artists that I didn't want to do an injustice to any of the artists and just name some of them.
Right.
So I am gonna list the names of artists that participated.
Yeah.
And then I also want you to tell us how we can actually hear the entire album, because you do have it available.
Right. It's on my bro that executive produced it with me, New Birth Entertainment. So it's on New Birth. It's an independent label, and New Birth Entertainment. My brother Reg. Shouts out to Reg. So it's online. It's on streaming platforms. I think it's on Apple Music. I'm not sure, but just look for Mutual Respect, New Birth Entertainment, and it should pull up online or whatever. So, but yeah, it's a whole lot of A-lister. You know, just about anybody that you know of within the last maybe 15 years or whatever of the Mexican community. Is on the album. Everybody except for Frost. I wasn't able to get Frost on there.
Okay. Well, I want to say shout out to every artist on the project. That project, again, is very solid and very powerful. There is no project out there, in my personal opinion, that compares to Mutual Respect.
And it's needed. You know, it's needed. It's not a fairy tale. Like I said again, it's a history lesson. It's a current demonstration. It's not, like I said, kumbaya holding hands, and we understand the politics, but we also understand that the reason why the Blood and Crip Peace Treaty even happened is because a common enemy was doing us worse. We saw a demonstration of them doing us worse than we was doing each other, and they get away with it. You know, the laws is on the books that them 5 demons that did Rodney King like that, they all got off scot-free, you know what I'm saying? So once we saw that level of blatant racism, Mexicans see it too, you know what I'm saying? That's why they feel like they feel about Donald Trump, and I understand that. I totally understand it, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, just knowing that that's the enemy and that's the adversary, or those are the trials and tests that we got to deal with every day. It's absolutely needed that we show at least somebody that has respect, that represents a nation or army of righteousness, is speaking up in behalf of showing respect to Mexican brothers, because this was all Mexico. The United States was all Mexico. A lot of people talking about like the Mexicans is coming over here across the border stealing our jobs, like they the aliens, you know, these illegal immigrants and aliens. No, we're the aliens. I'm talking about, you know, those that was either kidnapped and brought over here, or the ones that brought us here. Those is the aliens, and then they put up borders and say this is our land, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, all of this was Mexico. And if you do the history of how it was taken, how it was scammed and bamboozled out of the land, you know what I'm saying, then it's only right, you know, that they get their land back. It's only right we get our land back, because some of this land is also ours, and then the land in Africa and the rest of the planet, it's time to take all of our stuff back. So rap represents the language of the dissatisfied masses, the language of God, the language of revolution, and I just happen to be one of those players.
Okay. I'm going to end with just a couple of words. Mutual respect.
Mutual respect on the campaign trail, and this is one of the campaign trail stories. Peace.